I came across a YouTube channel recently called Baby Jamie1, and he seems to play Minecraft whilst going through some Reddit stories and Reddit drama, and I'm inspired to do the same. So I'm going to start a new Minecraft world, and I'm going to go through some interesting Reddit stories. Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to start with quite a funny one from the looks of things, which is, am I overreacting? Brought cheese slices with me to McDonald's to put in burgers. Had a fight with a friend, so this should be interesting. A friend was hanging out at my home. We decided to get McDonald's, but in Australia it's expensive, and I don't believe spending $16 for a meal, especially when I'm gonna get hungry 15 minutes later. Anyways, a hamburger is $2 and a cheeseburger is $5.30. Sometimes, when I go to McDonald's, I just get a hamburger and put my own sliced cheese in it and make it a cheeseburger. That seems reasonable. We went to McDonald's and I did just that. I brought 2 cheese packet slices, got 2 hamburgers for $4 and put the slices in. Keep in mind, we did drive through and no one was watching us, just us 2 in the car. My friend said she's embarrassed for me and I said, I ain't paying $11 for 2 cheeseburgers when I just paid $4 and just brought my own cheese. She said if I do anything cheap again in public, she'll be more embarrassed and will walk in front of me. She was actually serious. Then I said, your top is from Shein or Temu. I don't think you can speak. The little passive-aggressive argument went on and I finally said, what is your effing problem? What I'm doing is not that serious. I just brought my own cheese to save money. Not that big of a deal and no one is watching. I feel sorry for you that you feel that you need to impress strangers at McDonald's. It was an awkward drive back home, then she left my home. We didn't contact each other. Am I overreacting? So straight off the bat, I can't see how this person is overreacting. This from their friend seems like quite an inconsiderate view to have on the person. Firstly, someone else's finances are none one else's business, and especially when you have a friend or a close friend that you think you have at least, that is what should be the least of your worries, really. And also, it's just quite a smart thing to do, to be honest with you. If I was in this position and I thought that I could save money by buying cheese slices and then buying burgers or hamburgers separately and then making them cheeseburgers myself, I think that just makes sense. So yeah, in this sense, I think that logic sort of prevails, but obviously their friend doesn't see it that way. So there is an edit or an update, so I'm just going to go through that now. Edit. Sorry, I didn't think this would blow up. And to answer some questions, it was those packet cheese slices individually wrapped you get at supermarkets for like $4 for a pack of 24. I didn't tell her I was doing it before we left. I just put those 2 cheese slices in my pocket. McDonald's was a 5-minute drive. Yes, you can check Australian hamburger versus cheeseburger prices. A hamburger is $2 and cheeseburger is $5.30. But it can vary from store to store. One store selling it for like $5.50. To be honest, even if we were dining in, I would have still put it on. No one is going to care and I highly doubt anyone is going to see. If they do see, they can judge all they want. My friend is not rich nor broke, but also she's not the smartest person financially. I, myself, am not cheap per se in the sense I will try penny pinch everything. I honestly don't see the point of paying $5.30 for a cheeseburger, which feeds a 3-year-old, when I can just bring my own and pay $2. For 2 cheeseburgers, I can get 5 hamburgers and just bring 5 cheese slices. I mean, do I want 2 burgers or 5 burgers for the same price? Also, the cheese I got tastes way better than the McDonald's cheese, in my opinion. It actually has a cheese taste. We went to McDonald's because it's 11:30 p.m. Nothing is really open at this time except for expensive food truck places, and their burgers alone, not a meal, can easily be $17 plus for one burger. After tonight, I don't think I want to contact her again. She showed her true colours. if this person needed to provide any more sound reasoning for their decisions and what they wanted to do, then they have done just that. I feel like this person doesn't need to give any reasoning in the first place. It's their own business and they can do what they want with their money and just in general do what they want. But also putting it in perspective, having 2 burgers or 5 burgers for the same price, I think that's pretty reasonable in terms of wanting to get your bang for buck. I'm just going to go over a couple of top comments from this thread as well. So one person has said that she's embarrassed because McDonald's is such a luxe establishment where society's finest gather to dine. Exactly. You really have to put it in perspective with this sort of thing. And if one of your best friends is getting uptight and annoyed about something like this, then again, as they said, really showing their true colours. Another comment said, if I were the friend, I would have given you stick for it because that's funny, and then brought cheese slices next time because you're onto something. $3.50 for cheese is crazy work. Exactly. If a friend is a proper friend and a close friend at that, they may make fun of you to begin with, but in reality, they'll always have your back. And again, just continue to laugh and have a good time and enjoy themselves and just have a bit of fun in that situation. It seems pretty reasonable. And another comment said, 2 cheeseburgers for $11 is absolutely wild. If it was me, I would be glazing you for saving me $7. Exactly, surely you'd appreciate someone for giving you some thoughtful insight and maybe considering something that you hadn't thought of previously. And then also, if both of you are doing it at the same time, you might feel less embarrassed to do that. Not that you need to feel embarrassed about that in public anyway. It's not like it's an embarrassing thing to do. There are a lot more things that you shouldn't be doing in public than using your own cheese, which you bought with your own money and you're putting into your own body. So I think that settles it. Okay, the next Reddit story is, would I be the asshole if I called the police on my mum for robbing me? Today, my mum came to watch my kids while I had my chemotherapy appointment at the hospital. She quickly left after I got back. I would have liked her to stay for a while because I'm not at my best, but at least my kids had supervision when I needed it. The problem is, when I got home, my daughter was hungry. I'm not sure if she wasn't fed lunch or just hungry like usual. She kept looking in the fridge over and over. I went to help her get a snack because I had stocked the fridge yesterday with a lot of groceries, including easy-to-eat prepared foods. Every single thing is gone. Mum must have bagged up all of my groceries and took them home. I don't even have milk or apple juice for my kids. I've called her several times and she isn't picking up. I called my brother who doesn't live with her and he said he will speak to her and get back to me. He's pissed. Should I call the police? I'm really thinking about it because it's several $100s of groceries I needed for the week, and being so close to Christmas, it's hard financially to replace. I mean, what an awful thing for someone who's supposed to love you and cherish you and care for you, especially your mother, to do. That is, yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that this person, the OP in this scenario, is not an asshole if they wanted to call the police on their mum, and I would actively encourage them to do so. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be the tiniest of things, but once someone's broken that trust with you, especially someone that you're supposed to really trust and respect, then that trust is completely gone in my eyes. And as they said, times are difficult at the moment when it comes to finances, especially with foods and groceries. I'm going to go over some comments for this story, and the top one being, she stole your food while you were at chemotherapy. Food you'll have a hard time replacing. She literally took the food out of her grandchildren's mouths. Absolutely. I mean, if there isn't a worse time to be stealing someone's food anyway, it would be whilst they were in chemotherapy of all things. How just... you must lack some sort of empathy or a heart to do something like that. And as this person has quite rightly pointed out, also this directly affects their grandchildren. Their grandchildren are going without food. These are grandchildren that you're supposed to be caring for and looking after. And if you can't even be trusted to do that and then steal the food, then you must be a pretty horrible person. Another comment says, theft of items with a value of over $50, punishable crime in every jurisdiction in the country. If you live in the US, call the police, report the theft, and tell them you believe it was your mother. They will deal with her. And of course, never leave your mother alone in your house again. And the OP said that they're in Canada, but they're sure that the rules are probably very similar. And apparently it was about $300 in groceries. I think that's a really important point that the commenter made as well, in terms of never leaving your mother alone in your house again. It doesn't even matter if it's with the grandchildren or not. If they're willing to steal $300 worth of groceries, they're willing to steal a lot of other things as well. Any of your precious items in your house is susceptible to theft from this person. It's such an awkward situation to put them in though, because they must be really desperate considering the healthcare that they're receiving. But when it comes to this, I feel like they don't really have any other option apart from having to find a babysitter. It'll probably be potentially cheaper in the long run if it means that their mother isn't stealing groceries or any other things from them. And we have another comment, which is this time from the original poster, which is a bit of an update. So it goes, well, I found out why she took the groceries. As my ex, John, who was the father of the kids, was leaving Children's Aid, came with the police because there was a report of neglect. My mother called them and said that my children had no food, were living in filth, and my son was not receiving his medicine and medical care. John was speaking with them in the laneway for about 30 minutes. They just came inside, did a quick inspection of the home, and checked the welfare of the kids. I showed proof of the grocery purchase yesterday and today, and John said he provided dinner after Mum took the groceries. They said she will have repercussions for filing a false report. This mother seems like an absolutely insane person. Apparently as well, the officer said that she wants custody of this person's children. The officer said that they can also go down to the police station the following day and fill out a form, which they've said that they're going to do after they drop the kids at the school. Apparently they're also going to let the school know to not let the mum pick them up as well. Apparently she's picked them up before, so they will know her. I mean, what an awful, awful position to find yourself in. And from my perspective, makes me really grateful for the family that I have. I could never picture them doing anything remotely close to something like this. And I really hope that this person is able to retain custody of their own children and push this person out of their life. This next Reddit story is from Relationship Advice. And the post is, found deleted messages from my boyfriend and now I'm sick to my stomach. I don't know what to do. 26 female, 24 male. Hi everyone, I, 26 female, have been with my boyfriend, 24 male, since July. Yes, we moved in together fast, just this past month. He was living with his sister, who was getting evicted, and I didn't want him to end up with random roommates. I also wanted to move out of my grandma's house. It all fell right at the time. This man has treated me better than anyone I've ever dated. He literally worships the ground I walk on. He helps with the house, takes care of me mentally and physically, respects me, or so I thought, and has been the safest relationship I've had. I'm dating to marry. I want a family. I've only ever dated older men before, so being with someone younger was new for me, but he stepped up in every way. Well, this morning I had a nightmare that he wanted an open relationship, which is my worst fear. I brushed it off as just a dream. But tonight I had his phone. He knows my password and I know his. And for the first time ever, I checked his deleted messages. And I found horrible ones from December 2nd, when I was at work and he got drunk. My heart sank. I feel nauseous. He didn't physically cheat, but the words he sent hurt just as much. We share a home, a bed. I cook for him. all of it feels tainted now. I confronted him immediately. He threw up and started crying, saying he had made a horrible mistake, that he was drunk and not thinking. He got on his hands and knees begging for forgiveness. Both our families love us together. He has never done anything like this before. There has never been another red flag. I'm so hurt, I can barely think straight. I love him deeply, and part of me wants to give him another chance. But another part of me keeps asking, how can someone who claims to love me so much be this disloyal, even with words? And I completely understand where this person is coming from. Once even a tiny bit of trust in your relationship has been tested and goes like this, it's difficult to see them not doing it again. And when it comes to something like this, I feel like it's a gateway to something else. It may start as something like this, but in reality, they might get drunk one more time and act upon those instincts instead of just messaging someone. You never know what they're doing out and about, and they might not have messaged it to someone, but you've got to ask yourself whether that's a risk you're willing to take with this person when they've already shown you that they can't be fully loyal. I know that some people might get annoyed at this person for checking their partner's phone, but if they're willing to share passwords with one another, they must have had this discussion and shown that they're willing to open themselves up in this way. And you can also see that this person has deleted these messages, showing that they're actively trying to hide it, and they're only sorry because they were caught in the act, rather than actually having done it. I'm going to go over some top comments for this one. One of them saying, it's only been 5 months and he's cheated already. There's no love, no trust or respect here. You've forced a relationship too fast. You need to concentrate on being logical, not infatuated with fluffy feelings. No, don't stay with him. You make plans for your exit and move on. If you stay, you'll regret this and resent him for the rest of your days. And I completely agree with that. It's such a short relationship anyway, and he's already shown his true colours. They've been somewhat forced into this position by themselves, by moving into this property together. And you've got to realise that if they weren't in this property together, they weren't living together, would she be giving him the benefit of the doubt in that scenario? She probably would completely cut ties then and there. But because they have this material similarity with one another, for some reason it does make you sort of ask those questions. I think that this is something that they would come to regret a lot, and there are a lot of people out there that would not treat you like that, and they'd give you the respect that you deserve. So if anything, the fact that he's shown his true colours within the first 5 months is probably a blessing in disguise, instead of it being 5 years down the line, for example. Another comment says, both our families love us together. Irrelevant. It's your life. He has never done anything like this before. Again, that you know of. I love him deeply, and part of me wants to give him another chance, but another part of me keeps asking, how can someone who claims to love me so much be this disloyal, even with words? And then this person says, you love a certain version of him, which might have been, but isn't anymore. You've been together for less than 5 months, and he's already writing awful things to another woman. You've had some great times together, but you read that he would have preferred to spend them with someone else, and you want to give him another chance. I mean, if that doesn't put it in perspective, I don't know what does. And then another person has said, nobody loves you harder or sooner than a man about to have no place to live. Exactly. They're only saying these things because they were caught in the act, and that they have something to lose, which for them it seems that their priorities is somewhere to live rather than the relationship, which that speaks volumes. And another commenter said, yeah, so my dad used to pull similar stuff on women to move in with them. I think nowadays we call it hobosexual. It sounds like he moved into your place. Get familiarised with what laws you have on your side and set out a game plan in case you guys break up. This last Reddit story is from OffMyChest. I let an old man with dementia think I was his daughter for years, and now he's gone, and I miss him more than my real dad. This is a throwaway because it's weird and personal. When I, 32 female now, was in my early 20s, I visited my grandpa in a nursing home every week. There was this resident Harold, 80s then, with bad dementia who always mistook me for his daughter, who died young in a car accident. He'd light up when he saw me, call me by her name, tell stories. At first I corrected him, but he got upset. Staff said it calmed him to play along, so I did. I'd sit for hours, hold his hand, let him reminisce. He gave me dad advice, spoiled me with cafeteria snacks. It felt nice. My real dad was distant/alcoholic, never there emotionally. Over 8 years, I became his daughter. He passed last year, left me a small inheritance labelled for my little girl. His real family, distant nieces/nephews, didn't mind. No one knows how deep it got. I grieved harder for him than my actual grandpa. I feel like I stole something sacred, but also got the father I never had. Is this messed up? I still visit his grave sometimes. I can't describe this as even remotely messed up. Firstly, this is such an incredibly touching story, but to give someone that sort of attention in the position that they're in, it takes a special kind of someone to be able to do that and be there emotionally for someone like that. Again, it's difficult in the sort of outset to maybe take on that persona, and go along with something that someone with Alzheimer's is saying, because as they very rightly pointed out, that's kind of what you're supposed to do in that sort of a situation. But to commit to it to that extent that this person has, I feel like it's a rarity that someone could be this compassionate and kind-hearted. Also, it was beneficial for themselves as well to have someone to be able to kind of call their dad in that sort of a scenario when their real dad hasn't been there for them, especially emotionally. That seems like such a difficult thing to go through, but such an honourable thing to have done for someone. The top comment says, "God bless you. I worked in Alzheimer's facilities. You did the right thing by entering his world and becoming his daughter to make his remaining years happy. What a lucky man he was to have you in his life for his remaining years. As far as he knew, you were his daughter. You did not steal anything sacred. Alzheimer's destroys the brain cells and takes away people's memories. Alzheimer's steals, not you. Please, in your grief, know that you were probably the only light he had in his last years due to this dementia. I know you miss him terribly, but please find solace in the happiness you brought him." And another person quite rightly points out that they both in this scenario found something that they needed in each other. And if that isn't the epitome of what being human is, then I don't know what is. And again, another person has said that they didn't steal anything. You gave him 8 years of your time, and you brought his daughter back to life for him. You gave him an incredible gift. And another comment says, "I get why you feel that way, but you healed 2 hearts in the process. You gave a man in his last years of life wonderful memories, and you deserve to feel that unrequited love a child should feel. What you did was sweet and sincere, even if it's based on a lie. You getting sad over it proves it." And I think that is a perfect sentence to finish this on. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you enjoy this. And again, thank you very much to Baby Jamie1 for the inspiration for this sort of content. I stumbled across their channel and thought that it was such a fantastic idea and something that I'd love to be able to do and blend 2 very large interests of mine. And hopefully you found something interesting in this, so please let me know. And if you did enjoy it, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you again soon.